Don. How are you?
Sonya, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm so happy to see you here today.
Thank you.
I must say, you look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're always on point in your outfit.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, Sonya, are you ready to start?
Yeah. Let's start.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, I want to jump in straight and ask you, Sonya, so we know you call yourself a body positive activist these days, right?
Correct.
So can you tell us more about it? Why is it called a body positive activist, and what do you stand for?
Okay, so ideally what I'm trying to help educate the public is that, regardless of your skin color, your body shape, your size, your appearance, there's so much beauty in you. And I feel like for the longest time, everybody has always been placed into a box or a particular standard where, they're supposed to look a certain way to be deemed beautiful or handsome and whatnot. And so it's basically debunking all of that and ideally, educating people that, okay, beauty comes in different shapes and sizes and colors, and as humans we're supposed to be compassionate and loving and show that same kindness towards people regardless of how they look, even if it means it doesn't necessarily fit into what the media portrays as beautiful or what your individual perception of beautiful is.
Wow, you said that so perfectly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I like that, because I've been following with your journey since day one, and I see everything that you do. I think you stand exactly for that.
Thank you.
You give people confidence because of what you're doing.
I try.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Sonya, tell us more about this condition, vitiligo. Can you educate us more on this?
Yeah, definitely. So vitiligo is basically a autoimmune disorder whereby your skin loses its pigmentation. So it can happen to people at any age of their life. Some people have it in their 60s, some people have it, when they're 2 or 3 years old. So it just varies based on the individual. It's not genetic. A lot of people think it's genetic, meaning if someone in my family had it, that means I have it or my children would have it. It's not necessarily like that. It actually just affects individuals in its own ways. And there's only 1% of the entire world's population which is people with vitiligo. So we're really quite rare.
Is that so?
Yeah, we're only 1% of the world's population. Yeah. And so we're actually really rare. Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, I can see that you're rocking your condition.
Thank you.
You don't hide it. But has it always been like that? Like back in the past, were you always confident with your skin, or do you used to hide yourself?
Honestly, when it first started, so my vitiligo started when I was 8 years old. So at that time, it wasn't as prominent. It started with a small dot on my face. But as I started reaching 11 to 12 years old and then going into my teen years, that's when it started spreading even more. And because I was going through so many different treatments and medications, obviously they all had its own adverse reactions on me. So I wasn't really that confident when I was in high school because high school can be a really rough place, especially in Malaysia. I feel like kids are not necessarily the nicest at times. So obviously there was bullying and mean people and whatnot. So that did affect my confidence. However, Ideally, when I reached the age of 17, I told myself, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm so tired of living my life just to please other people or, worrying about other people's thoughts and opinions. And I took control of the narrative and decided that, I'm going to do what's good for me. As long as I'm not hurting people, I'm spreading positivity, I'm going to go on living my life on my own terms, regardless of what people might say or think about me.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah. I mean, it took a long time to get there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here now.
Thank you.
What are some of the most painful moments growing up with vitiligo? Because I know that you said high school can be a rough place.
Correct.
But yeah, maybe you can share with us, like, like what are some of the things you've experienced?
So obviously there was the bullying, whereby kids would pick on me, and then on top of that, whenever I went out in public, I had to deal with a lot of questions from adults. So adults would come up to me and ask me things like, "Hey, like, what happened to your skin? Are you an acid burn victim, or did your parents spill hot oil on you?" I used to get the weirdest questions, okay, the most ridiculous questions. And so I used to get a lot of these questions, and obviously people staring at me, and when they stare, they really stare. It's like if you're walking in the same direction of them, as soon as they pass you behind your back, they still turn around to look at you. Yeah. So it was a lot of that, and also parents who there have been instances whereby parents would pull their kids away from me and tell the kids like, "Hey, don't go near her, otherwise you'll get what she has." So it was a lot of these different things here and there. However, today when I see things like that happening, or when I do have people come and approach me and ask me questions like, what happened to you and whatnot, I use that as my opportunity to really educate them on what vitiligo is, but also to educate them to be kinder human beings, because people tend to be a little blunt when they come off, they come off really strong when they're asking questions and whatnot. And curiosity is fine, because it's normal as humans for us to be curious. However, there's always a way for you to structure your curiosity without being, without coming off as rude and insensitive. So whenever I have these questions now, or people come up to me now, I use that as my opportunity to really educate them. And one thing I always tell them is, hey, moving forward, if you see someone who looks different, doesn't have to be a skin thing, but it could be anything for that matter, be kind with your approach to them, because you never really know what that person is going through, and you never really know how your questions and your approach can actually affect the individual.
Yeah, and I think you're doing the right thing, because you can. I mean, the way I say it, you could either use this opportunity to educate them, or you could just look at the bad side.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to your point just now, the part where you say people stare.
Yeah.
I think we're on the same boat with that.
Yeah.
So people used to stare at me as well. I mean, they still do.
Yeah.
But back then it was even more worse, because back then I didn't use a wheelchair.
Correct.
I used to walk, but I had like a slightly weird way of walking, because my muscles were not strong enough to support me.
Correct.
So yeah, people would stare. But you know what? Growing up, I actually decided to use this as a opportunity instead of looking at it as something bad. You know what I did?
Yeah.
So I took this opportunity to actually look good, dress up good, feel good.
Correct.
Because they're already staring at me, right?
Yeah, correct.
So use it as a spotlight.
Correct. I always believe that, if they want to sell us, give them something to stare at,
Exactly, there you go. Give them something to stare at.
I literally, for me now, I mean, when I was younger, I used to obviously cover my skin. I never covered my face with makeup, because I just felt like it was just way too much effort, and I did not like the feeling of it on my skin. But I did used to wear like long sleeves and jeans. I really used to cover my skin as much as I could. However, when I reached a certain age, I decided, you know what, I want to wear dresses, I want to wear shorts, I want to wear skirts, and why am I hiding myself just for the ease of other people? If they want to stare, that's their problem, it's their eyes. I look good, so I'm just gonna do my own thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You rock your own body.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and like give them something to stare, they'd be like, this girl has vitiligo, but look at her shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So of course those were some of the bad times, but I'm pretty sure there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm sure there were a lot of beautiful things that also happened because of growing up with this condition. So maybe throughout the journey, could you share like some of your highlight moments?
I guess one of my highlights, or rather my highlights would be, even sometimes when strangers would come up to me and, compliment me, or come and tell me things like I'm beautiful, or like, hey, I love your outfit, or, I love the energy you're carrying, things like this. These little things make a huge difference. And on top of that, I really had a very good support system where my friends and family were concerned, because, they've always been very supportive. They've always pushed me to, do better, chase my dreams, not give a hoot about what people think or say about you. And, being able to be in the modeling industry despite looking the way I am is also a big win for me, because I wanted to use that as my opportunity to show people that, regardless of what you look like, change the narrative, prove to people that you do not need to look a particular way to be successful or to have a normal life. I used to have people always come up to me and say things like, oh, it's really sad you won't be able to have a normal life, and it used to baffle me, because I'm like, what is normal? Nobody is normal, okay? We're all like quirky and crazy and weird in our own ways, and we should be embracing that, but there's always a negative connotation to the word normal, and they make it seem like, if you look different or you don't fit into the particular mold, you're not considered normal. But for me, that word entirely just makes no sense, because if that's the case, I don't want to be normal. I like being different, and it gives me the advantage to really, show people that it's good to be different and it's okay to be different.
Yeah, and I think it's sad that some people out there have this misconception that they think we want to be normal, like as if we're suffering from something.
Yeah,
but we are living life.
Exactly. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I'll have people come up to me and say things like, oh, it's really sad that you look that way because you're a really nice girl and all that, but because of the way you look, you won't be able to get married and things like that, or have a successful career. And I'll just turn back and look at them and I'll go, what the heck did I just hear? Okay, first of all, that is not how life works. And if a marriage is based on the person's appearance solely, then that's okay. I'm perfectly fine being single. As for Korea, there's so many people doing so many wonderful things. Look at all the famous scientists we have, and developers and CEOs of the world. They're all different people, who are actually paving the way for everyone else and showing people that regardless of what your disadvantage may be according to the world, you are more than capable of doing anything you set your mind to.
In fact, different is good, because imagine a world where everyone was same.
Exactly. Imagine looking like everybody else. Cannot.
That's the world I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
But I guess the only thing sad about people saying those kind of things, the only thing sad is the fact that they have that mindset. That is just
correct.
sad,
Correct. And sometimes it's a bit hard to shift that mindset from them, especially with the older generations. But I feel like with the younger generation, and because of their exposure to social media and their surroundings, there's a lot of room for change, whereas the older generations are more of like, no, I only know 1 + 1 is 2, so I'm not going to think that 1 + 1 could be equals to 3 or 4 or anything beyond that.
But coming back to that story of the person who said that no one's gonna marry you, I mean, I don't know who that is, but I hope they're listening, because
it was some old uncle.
It's okay, but because I mean, look at you now. I'm pretty confident that all the boys are lining up.
No, I don't know about that, but
no,
I'm
very
focused.
I'm confident.
I'm super focused on myself, that I'm like, okay, guys, you can stay in line until I reach what I want to reach.
Yeah, and I see a strong, focused, empowered woman.
Thank you.
Who's got the eyes on the prize, so you're not distracted.
Yeah, exactly. Ain't no letting no man get in my way.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Sonya, what are your plans for the future as a body positive activities? Because lately I saw that you started an association. It's called Vitiligo Association Malaysia, or as short we call it WAM. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I actually started WAM with the idea of creating more awareness on vitiligo, the people in Malaysia who have vitiligo, and the things they've been through, the stories they carry with them, and also because in the past there has not been any representation or any education about it, or nobody talks about it, because for me, I guess what motivated me to do so is because when I was growing up, I never saw anyone else who looked like me. I never had a role model for me to look up to, or someone for me to talk to about vitiligo, or the struggles that I was going through where that was concerned. So I started VAM with the idea to really show people that these are your people living amongst you, and these are the things that they've been through, this is the stories they carry. And ideally, my long-term goal is, hopefully to be able to make it into a safe space for not only people with vitiligo, but basically anyone, and to be able to offer them like the resources that they need if, they need help with something, or even if they just want someone to talk to, I want it to be able to be a safe haven for them. Yeah.
I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, can you maybe tell the audience like where can they follow WAM's pages maybe?
So WAM is on Facebook and Instagram, which is Vitiligo Association Malaysia. Yeah.
All right, I'll show it on the screen so they can follow you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Sonya, I'm just curious, if tomorrow someone comes up to you and say that they have a cure for vitiligo, would you take it?
Honestly, I thought about this a very long time ago, and my answer would be no, because this has made me who I am today, and I actually like looking different. I don't know if my answer might... Obviously, if you had asked me this when I was in my teens, I would have said yes, just give me one, poke me, or just give me whatever that's needed for me to look, like I said, what people would call normal.
Yeah.
But today, thinking about it, I actually would not, because I'm perfectly comfortable in myself, and I feel like it has become such a huge part of me that I don't know what life would be like if how different life would be like if it was no longer there. Yeah, so I'm kind of just like letting nature take its course. I'm not taking any medications or whatsoever. So it's more of like, if my skin decides to repigment completely and go back to an even skin tone, I'm okay with that. But even if it remains as such, I'm also okay with that. But I would not like take anything chemically just with the intention of curing it. Yeah.
Again, I have to say again once more, I'm in the same boat with you as well. When I was young, I always wished there was a cure, But today, after everything I've been through, I don't think I'll take it, because look at where it's brought me. Correct. And look at the change that you're doing.
Correct.
So I know it might disappoint some people. They think we want to be cured.
But I know. Trust me, I've met a lot of people who would ask me questions like, why don't you just decide what color you would like to be? And I'm like, what a great suggestion, as though that's something that's in my control. Or even say things like, why don't you take bleaching pills so that your skin is completely white? And when I used to get those questions, I always thought to myself, what a ridiculous suggestion or a ridiculous question to ask. But it's because they are not used to seeing people who are different but comfortable in their difference. For them, that's like a shock to their system. Like, hey, why are you not doing something about it if there is something that can be done? But they don't realize that some people prefer to be a certain way because that's what's comfortable for them. That's what makes them confident. And that's what has made them the person that they are today. Yeah,
look at you today. Like you were saying, this is actually a blessing in disguise.
Correct, yeah.
I see you everywhere today. I see you on runway. I just saw you in Tattoo Asia magazine. Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
You're doing a great job, Sonya.
Thank you.
Sonya, we're going to be playing a game right now.
Okay,
it's called Rapid Fire Question.
Okay.
So in this game, I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to answer as quick as you can without even thinking.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay, again.
Okay, my first question to you. The person you admire the most?
My father.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite Malaysian food?
Char kway teow. And chicken rice.
Okay, that's two, but
yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I hope your dad's listening at least.
Yeah.
Heritage is hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Okay. All right. Favorite movie?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to watch that.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
All right. And heels or sneakers?
Depends on the occasion, but heels.
Heels.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're almost at the end of the show right now.
All right.
So at the end, I just have 3 more questions for you. My first question is, now's your chance to ask me anything at all. One question, you can go ahead and ask me like the most random question and I will answer.
Okay, if there was any place in the world that you would live in, where would it be? Aside from Malaysia.
Wow, I didn't really think about that because I haven't really traveled much, but I do love the idea of traveling.
Yeah.
I guess I would. This is difficult, but I mean, from what I've seen on the internet and the movies, I guess I would pick Australia.
Oh, nice. Very nice
Yeah,
place.
I've heard a lot of good comments about the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people's
It's
nice.
beautiful.
It's
Australia
calm.
is beautiful. Yeah. Very laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll pick Australia.
Okay, nice.
Okay, that's great. Wow, wonderful question. So, Sonia, can you tell us one thing that people don't know about Sonia? Just do it for the show so that they have something awesome to
So one thing that people don't know about me is I'm actually a shy person, or I'm selectively shy depending on the occasion. A lot of people think that I'm not shy because I'm always so outspoken and extroverted, but I'm actually an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. It's called extroverted introvert. So I can be shy or a little bit more introverted depending on my surroundings or the people that I'm with. But yeah, that's something that people don't know because they just always assume that I'm a chatterbox, just going on and on and on, and I'm like the life of the party or whatnot and talking to everybody. But it actually really depends on my environment, and because I adapt a lot to the energy that surrounds me. So like with certain people and certain environments and the energy surrounding that, I sort of adapt to that as well.
So you're very picky with who you spend your time with?
Yeah, I'm very picky. Yeah.
That's good, because I believe like who you surround yourself with,
correct,
that's eventually who you will become.
Yeah, correct. There's a saying that top 5 people that you spend your time with is the people you are most likely to look up to, and you become like them and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what I've heard is that you spend time with 5 losers, and guess who's the 6th loser?
Yeah.
You spend time with 5 motivated winners, and guess who's the 6th winner?
Yeah,
you become like who you spend.
Correct.
So you know what they say,
very
if you want to be someone who is productive, high achievers, find those kind of people and spend time with them.
Correct. Very true. Yeah.
You can't expect to spend time with lazy people and then expect to be like in a high.
Exactly. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Sonia, the final question. Let's get into it. How do you want the world to remember Sonya Danita?
That's a good question. I guess how I would like them to remember me is as someone who has always been very kind and compassionate and loving and positive towards them, and someone who always makes sure that regardless of what you're going through, I always want to be able to help people. So I would hope that people would remember me for my kindness and the love that I share with them. Yeah.
Well, I guess you're on the right track, because when I think of you, that's how I think of you.
Thank you. Oh, so sweet. Thank you.
All right, Sonia. So we've come to the end of the show.
Thank you.
I feel so sad.
Don't be sad. Don't worry.
I wish the session was longer. Yeah. So Sonia, for all those people out there who wants to connect with you, where can they find you?
So they can find me on Instagram at Sonya Danita. Yeah, that's
all
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So just Instagram, right?
Yeah, Facebook is all my uncle and aunties, so I don't think you want to be friends with me there because I'm hardly active there. But my main platform is Instagram.
Active on Instagram.
Yeah,
all right.
correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. All right, guys, there you go. Follow Sonia on Instagram.
Yes.
She's really active there. Yeah. So Sonia, as you know, when we come towards the end of the show, I always get my guests to sign the cup.
Correct. Yeah,
all right.
let's do it.
So here's the microphone for you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Sign the cup.
I will sign this side where there's no lipstick. And without spilling my drink lah, huh?
Go ahead.
There you go.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.